Hey, true believers. Chris Mack coming at you yet again with another epic weekend figure review. Today we are going over the DC Essentials Knightfall Batman, and I loves it. And you know, if you want to go Golem, you can go precious. But anyway, if you guys want to pick this up, you can do so at Big Bad Toy Store, or as I always first and foremost stress, please make sure to support your local comic shop and first check with them to see if either A, they can special order it for you, or B, see if they already have it in stock. My local comic shop had it. I called and I said, hey guys, do you have that Knightfall Batman? And they're like, yeah, man. And so I bolted up there in a flash and got it. And oh man, it is so beautiful because it has that old school, you know, 70s Neil Adams, Denny O'Neil era look, and just, yeah. So anyways, you can see you get the window here, you get the Knightfall cool stuff there, you get this fancy little DC Collectibles logo there. Number 21, love the faded background that these figures have from the Collectibles line. You flip it around this way, you get a cool little product shot, and the figures from the line that you'll need, so I'll make sure to get a close-up of that for you guys. And then you flip it around this way, another great close-up product shot of Batman, says Knightfall Batman, number 21. Coming back around to the front, there's that beautiful window. You look at the top, now check this out. This right here, like this says it's supposed to be from Knightfall. This particular logo from this era is the Night Quest, because in Knightfall, on the trade dressing, it would say Batman, then it had the regular logo, and there was like this eclipse happening. And after Batman got his bat broken, and Jean-Paul Valley took over as Batman, then the Night Quest logo was that. So just a little bit of trivia there. You flip it around to the bottom there, and you just see how much I paid for it. You see all the legal stuff, you know, who cares? But what we do care about is this Knightfall figure as awesome as I'm geeking out about it right now. So let's go ahead and get Mr. Wayne out of his box and get a closer look at him. And here's Batman out of the packaging and just looks absolutely phenomenal, guys. Like, I know I said that I was absolutely excited to pick this up at my comic shop, but I did have my reservations because I asked myself, do I really need another Batman? But with that said, the answer is yes. And as you can see him posed here on the stand, he just looks gorgeous. And you know, this blue and gray was basically the look that he rocked from, what was it, the 70s all the way through the 90s. I think it changed right around the Hush series. No, I think it was actually No Man's Land when he changed more to black. Because this fall, as this said, this is Knightfall, so it followed into the Knightfall. And a little bit afterwards, and I think it was right around Cataclysm that they changed it more to a black. And I think Jeff Loeb and all them brought it back into Hush, but still rocking almost 30 years, you know, 3 decades of this look. Still tried and true. You know, he has the capsule belt, just that great look. And I'm glad that they didn't put any shading on him, because then if you try to do any type of photography yourself, then you have to fight with the paint. So I'm glad that they left it basic. And we'll get into the apps and all that stuff here in a minute, but I just wanted to show off how wonderful this figure looks. It's very much remnant of the Neil Adams, Denny O'Neil era. And I'm glad that the DC's Essentials decided that this was the figure that they were going to give us. And man, I'm just so glad my local comic shop had it. So without further ado, let's get Batman off the stand here, and let's get a closer look at his paint apps and all the wonderfulness indeed, that is this figure. So tragically, the only downfall to this Batman is there's no accessories. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and just jump into some backstory on this Batman. Now, this particular look goes back to the Denny O'Neil days. I can't remember when they took over the title, but one of the most iconic ones is from Batman 451, and of course, the 2 times that he clashes with Ra's al Ghul. Now, the Knightfall, this was a big event back in 1993, and there was, you know, there was the Prelude, Night Quest, what was it? And then there was Night's End. But, you know, just kind of give you guys a quick one. It started in Batman 491, like the Knightfall. It started in 491 and started in Detective Comics 659, and it ended with Detective Comics, I believe it was 666, and Batman number 500, where Azrael, Jean-Paul Valley took over as Batman. So it's kind of that quick skim over some of the books that you definitely should read. Let's go ahead and jump right into the paint apps and just how wonderful this Batman looks. And I love how they paid attention to the head sculpt. It's really, really nice. And I love how just naturally, without them putting any extra type of like dark painting on here, just the way his eyes are arched, that's just natural shadow, as you can see as you tilt it. So I love that. I love the face, and get some focus. And then again, I love how you can kind of see the muscles brimming through the cowl here. I like that old school pointy horns. They're longer and just great. I love how the, you know, the paint apps don't look too smudgy going around his jawline into his mask, and you actually get nostrils and it doesn't look bad at all. Again, natural shading. Same thing on the, where you can kind of see where his actual face, you know, get that grimace look going on, like grrr. Just really fits well into the head sculpt. Same thing with the body. Now, one thing that I will say, and I said this on my Joker review with the McFarlane one, is I really appreciate that McFarlane's kind of, or at least on the Joker figure that I saw, is, you know, how you see these lines here on the body? He hid all that under Joker's shirt. So that was really cool. And I'm kind of hoping that, you know, Essentials kind of pays attention to that, where we're not always getting all these lines on our action figures. But I like how you can actually see the rib cage, the abs, just great work around the torso, the muscles brimming, and you actually see like where the fabric would actually push against the muscles there. And, you know, I got a couple on my figure. I don't know if this, your mileage may vary, but you can kind of get a little bit of scuffs here. You got a little bit of yellow paint. You know, it's not too bad. Like the intricate lines on the gloves. I think that looks really awesome. You know, the little blades on the glove there look good, and they all line up just very symmetrical there. I wish we would have got some interchangeable hands and some accessories. That just kills me. And then, of course, I just love this classic belt, you know, the capsules for where he can just pull all his little utilities out. Same thing on this side. The cape looks nice. I kind of wish it was a little more wavy. I mean, it is, but I kind of wish, you know, but, you know, there's only so much trade-off you can do there. Same thing on the back. Looks good there. You know, you can see where his muscles brimming on his back. Again, paint looks good. Same thing on the bat butt, on the legs. You know, at least the cape covers all that legal stuff, so no worries there. You know, the legs, again, I love how they pay attention to where the muscles would bulge under the fabric. The boots look absolutely wonderful. I love that intricate line details you see here, especially on the bottom where you get all the nice little treads. That looks great. So the paint apps on this figure, in my opinion, not perfect, but for what we get with this figure, absolutely wonderful. The articulation is not too bad either, so we'll go ahead and start with the head. So, you know, you have to work a little bit because, you know, he does have a little bit of, not a whole lot of back and forth motion. So you can look down about that much, which is not too much there. And get him to look up about that much, not too bad. And then, you know, twist that way and that way. And he's got a little bit of, you know, wobbly going on there, which is good. Arms go up this much, and then if you twist up, you can get up that much. You just have to work around the cowl there, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. And then goes full 360, so whoop whoop. Got bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, so it's like, yes! You go down to the wrists, they both spin 360. Go up about that much. Go down about that much, so you know, the dinosaurs! So the wrist articulation is good, so no problems there. Waist, you have to work around the belt so you can hear that bending, so just be careful. So about that much, or at least on my figure. And you don't want to break it, so make sure to be careful, but still pretty good. Now with these essential figures, two things. When you do the ab crunch, make sure you're holding your figure tight, because I've heard horror stories where, you know, people don't do that and they try to moose it and it breaks. So I always like to try to keep a thumb, some nice strength, you know, strength on there, so you can bend forward that much and about that much back. And if you guys have a cool Bane figure, you know, you can reenact when I'm going to break you, crack, so you know you get a good back bend there. So Awesome Possum. Legs go out relatively well on that. So yeah, woohoo. That much forward, that much backwards. Double jointed knees. Feet go up about that much down. And then you get ankle pivots, so whoop, whoop. And you do get a boot cut, and I like that they hid it behind there so you don't get another line. It's actually hidden behind the boot, so that's cool. Upper thigh cut as well. So just really, really great articulation. And the other thing I forgot to mention when I was talking about the ab crunch, after a while with these essential figures, this has happened with my Superman, this has happened with my Nightwing, this figure, and it's starting to happen with my Deathstroke, is the joints start to get a little loose. So, you know, got to be a little careful. So like this foot here, really, really loose. But it's worth it to, you know, be able to, and just get a great, you know, kind of kick going on. So, you know, even though they get loose, if you play with it and get it positioned the way you want, it's not going to be too much of a problem. But see how I'm kind of trying to get that balance going on? So like I said, see, you work with it a little bit, it's not going to be a problem because overall, just beautiful figure, and I'm glad in the articulation. They're just great stuff overall. Now for some scale comparisons, from what I understand, Batman stands up somewhere around 7 inches, and then we have the DC McFarlane Toys Multiverse Arkham Asylum Joker there, who's about 7 inches as well. This is the DC designer Greg Capullo Commissioner Gordon. This is the Mattel DC Multiverse Damian Wayne Robin, and this is the DC Essentials Nightwing. And then I pulled this out because even though it's small, I still think that thing looks pretty dope. So I just kind of wanted to throw that in there just for funsies and light it up. And as you can see, even though these two characters in the back stand at about 7 inches, the scaling works perfectly. This Nightwing and this Batman stand just about side by side. I think he's somewhere around 6.5 inches, so that works. And then, you know, Damian being the younger one, of course, is going to kind of be a pipsqueak compared to everybody. And Commissioner Gordon, when you stand him up against Batman, looks great. So this is what I like, was when toy designers kind of get the idea, like they want to do different sizes, but nonetheless, it's going to look good. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm really appreciative of. So no matter what line you get, you know, you can kind of mix and choose, and you can also play with, you know, depth of field to kind of get the look. But nonetheless, if I stood these next to each other, they're still going to scale great. So no matter what line you guys collect, if you get that Knightfall Batman, he is going to look great with all these different iteration of Batman figures. So yeah, definitely one you want to get in your collection. And as you guys can see here, he just looks absolutely amazing. And another one that actually, he's a little bit smaller, but still scales relatively well, is the, let me see if I can find a place for him. I'll swap him out with Gordon because, you know, I'm a little anal when it comes to symmetry here. This is the DC designers Greg Capullo Batman, and he stands a little bit smaller, but as you can see when you pit him up against the Bat family here, just looks absolutely beautiful. So that's what I mean, is when you get different figure lines, I like that these toy makers are just, or figure makers, should I reiterate here, just look great. Because, you know, for us as collectors, that's what we want, is scaling. And so, yeah, all these figures here are going to look great on a shelf. And when you do photography, just going to knock it out of the park. So, yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts on all these figures down in the comments below. So overall, I think this Knightfall Batman is exquisite. As I've said several times, this just harkens back to the Denny O'Neil, Neil Adams era. And this Batman, this look is such an iconic look. I mean, they used it in the Super Friends. It was part of the comics. And just like on all the old vintage merchandise, this was the Batman look that we knew. And again, I'm glad that they didn't put any shading on it so that you can do your own for your own photography. So I really appreciate that. But nonetheless, it is still intricate. Now, I am bummed out that they didn't give him any type of an interchangeable hand so that you can get some batarangs and whatnot. So I think that's the only strike on this figure for me. But overall, I still have to give that, with, you know, minus the not having interchangeable hands, I have to say 9 out of 10 Batarangs. So if y'all are looking for a great Batman, definitely first and foremost, if it's available in your area, check with your local comic shop and see if they can have this. If not, then you can go the online route, which is kind of like, you have to wait. But as collectors, you got to do what you got to do. And what you got to do is definitely pick up this figure because it's one that you want in your collection. So if you guys have enjoyed this review, we definitely appreciate it if you take a moment to hit like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you could possibly know. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that fancy little bat bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys will get notified. You can come to the channel, and we'd love to hear your feedback and your thoughts down in the comments below or on our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description below. And make sure to stick around. There's going to be a photo gallery here at the end. And with all that said, I hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.